Hello, 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 friends. Lauren Conaway here with Innovate Her KC, and very, very excited to be talking to you during Disability Pride Month. And we are continuing a conversation that we have been having around neurodivergence, and particularly how that affects leaders and entrepreneurs and people who seemingly need to be super, super organized, and what that looks like, how we handle things. We're going to have a really good conversation, and really, really excited to have you here. Really quick, Innovate Her KC, for those of you who have not heard, we are a leadership community serving women and individuals of marginalized gender experience. And we do a lot of stuff. We have a women-led business directory. We have a speaker directory. We do events and professional development. We've got over 6,400 members across the Kansas City metro. And everything we do with the lens toward inclusion and low barrier to entry. So that's a little bit about us. Now, today, I said we were continuing a conversation. So we kicked off the month with at the Golden Scoop for our monthly meetup. It was awesome. It was a great monthly meetup because we had ice cream for breakfast. But for those of you who don't know, the Golden Scoop is a nonprofit ice cream shop that employs people with disabilities with dignity and agency. And we love it. We had a blast. Then we had a Keystone session down at Keystone Innovation District where we talked with a panel of individuals who identify as neurospicy, neurodivergent, neurodiverse. And we just had a conversation about things like coping strategies and how neurodivergence shows up in their lives. It was a great conversation. And today we have with us one of my favorite human beings. We're going to be talking to Samantha Salem. And Samantha, she's a serial entrepreneur. And I'm going to ask her to tell you about that. That's going to be super fun. But we're going to have a conversation about her experience with neurodivergence. So I hope you can join us. Please note Cynthia Fales, our executive producer for IHKC Live, IHKC leadership team member, launch great publisher. She's just all of the things. She's unable to be with us today. So you're going to have to bear with me. I'm going to try everything I can to keep us technically on track. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add Samantha to the stream. And I'm going to say hello to Heather Hobbs, who just popped in. Heather, anybody who's watching this, feel free to ask your questions and contribute to the conversation in the comments. We definitely want to keep it going. So without further ado, hi, Samantha.
Hello.
How are you, friend?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Really excited to have you here today. I know that you and I have a tendency to get into deep conversations. That's kind of one of the things that we do.
Yep.
So I'm excited to have one publicly for all the folks playing at home. But first things first, we're going to do some quirky questions, and I am going to ask you, and I did, so Cynthia and we always give our guests the option to know the quirky questions ahead of time, and Samantha was one of the few who said, yeah, if you got them right there, that'd be great. So, so let's go ahead and go with that first one, and what was it going to be?
I don't remember.
I had it pulled up. It's somewhere around here. Well, I'll go ahead and I'll find that one. The second one was talk to us about travel, because I feel like that is something that you're very, very much into. So what has been your favorite place to travel, and what were some of your favorite experiences there?
Okay. So I absolutely love and adore travel because I feel like it is my therapy. It allows me to release. It removes me physically of the middle of the storm that I'm in all the time. Being a serial entrepreneur, as you said, I find serenity in the mountains. So anytime I can go and just see a huge lump of rocks in front of me.
I can totally see that. Like you just on a mountaintop, just staring out over the vistas. Like I can see that.
Yeah. Cabins, forest, green, lush grass, mountains, especially the mountains with the snow. I found recently that I am not too fond of the desert mountains because they're so dry. I'm just not a desert girl. So I like the luscious mountains and the snowy tops and just the cooler air, and it's refreshing, and there's something so majestic about the mountains. I just adore them so much.
Absolutely. Well, I love that. One of the things, so what is your travel Instagram handle?
It's called Travel Like a Sag, which is short for Sagittarius, which is
Yeah.
like, my birth month and everything. We're very notorious for the adventure and the spontaneity and the wanderlust. So I figured that was kind of like appropriate.
Yeah. Well, I love that. So definitely give Samantha a follow if you are interested in following along on her travels. You travel a lot, Samantha, like a
I
lot.
do therapy a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
So like,
Well, that is 100% self-care. No judgment here. Like I love the fact that so not only do you travel, I know that you travel a lot for business, and we'll talk about your businesses just a little bit down the line, but I love that you also make sure to prioritize that personal travel. Like I think when we first started hanging out, you had just gotten back from, or you were starting to plan one of your solo adventures where you were just going to hit up multiple cities just because you could. Right? Have you done that a bunch?
that sounds just like something I would do. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You were starting off on like a tour, and I want to say like it involved Tennessee or something. I don't even remember, but like
It was probably like, if we're talking back then, it was probably my birthday trip.
yeah.
I went on a road trip by myself for 5 or 6 days, and I tend to like to hit up as many of the cities in the area as possible. If it's like within a 3-hour distance, you will
Yeah.
find me there. So I think that one was St. Louis, Louisville, Knoxville.
Uh-oh. We lost you a little bit, I think.
Okay.
But at any rate, yeah, like I love the fact that you prioritize travel. And I remembered the second question.
Yes.
So are you ready? It was what are your pet peeves?
Oh goodness. I have a lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Depending on, we talking? Okay, so in real
We're
estate,
talking about anything you that is a very open-ended question, and you can
in real
interpret it how
estate,
you will.
yeah, real estate wise, I hate carpet in bathrooms and kitchens, and pictures with toilet lids up. I just can't.
Okay.
In real life and day to day stuff, I hate it when people leave towels on countertops or something, and
Yeah.
also chewing loudly pisses me off like no other. Like I
Is it
can't.
like an ASMR thing? Is that
Called
does it
misophonia. Like I literally can't stand it.
yeah. So
I
all of it, like your husband and your family, like everybody knows when we're around mom, we're gonna eat very politely.
Or I'm gonna blast the TV on loud so I can't hear anybody else but the TV.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Those are some solid pet peeves. I dig it.
I just
Well,
can't.
so now I want to dig into you a little bit. And I told friends, I told Samantha before we started, I was like, I'm actually probably going to usually I introduce the guest and like talk a little bit, but like you have off the top of my head 5 businesses that I know of. And so and I'm confident that I don't know about all of them. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Thanks for helping me with that because I had no idea what that number was. I'm pretty sure you're right. So I let's just start with like the most prominent and then go from there. So I
Okay.
am in real estate. I am a realtor with Reese Nichols. I've been in real estate for 6+ years. I help people buy, sell, and invest in real estate. So that's my main active income. That's
Mhm.
that's what puts the food on the table, basically.
Yeah.
Um, Everything I do is in between this triangle, which is real estate, travel, and design.
Mhm.
Anything I do is going to have to be related to something that way. So, my second business is called Bloom, and it's an Airbnb. Basically, just I manage my own Airbnbs and I design them, furnish them, and I get all of those things together. So, that is another piece that I handle. I have a syndication company, which is called Another Comma, because we want to add another comma to your assets kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that
Make that
is
jump from 6 figures to 7.
exactly. So that is a real estate investing syndication company. And if you don't know what that means, it's basically the easiest way for me to explain it is like crowdfunding. So we buy multifamily apartment complexes, us and our friends and family and investors, everybody pitches in a small dollar amount, and then all of us collectively are called a syndication, and then we go and purchase this big building. Because there's a lot of people that don't have access to money to buy it on their own. But if we all come together, then it's much easier. And that's how
Yeah.
we closed. We closed on our first syndication in May, where we now own a 50-unit building right off Truce next to
Wow.
UC. So that's been one of my current projects that we're managing and we're dealing with. So, and we have
And
many.
there's a profit share that comes from
Mhm.
that I guess fractional ownership, part
Yes.
ownership.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like stocks and buying stocks in a company kind of thing. You're
Yeah.
doing the same thing with an actual tangible building, and you know the people who are running it and you trust them and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
that's
I dig
more
it.
of we're trying to, you know, I wouldn't say shy away, but we're just trying to focus a bit on the commercial real estate side too.
Yeah.
I also, what else do I do? I own Goal Friends with my friend Heather Ann, which is a women's retreat that focuses on the sisterhood and the companionship and the slowing down part of life, because
Yeah.
we're all like go 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 go, and we have to remember that we can't take care of other people if our cups are empty. And this is just a
Yeah.
very local 1 to 2 days off, women only, adults only. Let's sit down. I take their phones away and we go sit down and we do things together. And it's very like, I don't know. I just wish everybody can come experience it with us. And I need it the most out of everyone. And our next one is on the 29th. So if you are interested, please let us know. And I would
Yeah.
love for you to come too. If you're available, you should definitely come.
Well, and I just want you to know that Melanie and Tony Henia, assalamu alaikum, most definitely. So that was in response to what you were talking about. So that's awesome.
Yay.
All right. So how many businesses was that? How many are we up to right now?
I don't know.
Was that
Okay.
all?
So rules is like the agent stuff is one, and then you have the syndication, you have the Airbnb, you have the retreats. What else do I do? I host Invest KC, which is
That's
a real
right. That was the fifth one that I was thinking of. So yeah, Invest Casey.
it's
Okay.
real estate investing conference. So it's a 3-day conference, and we try to bring everybody from like newbies that have never bought anything before in their life to like people who owns hundreds of doors. It's a really good connection network type event. We're not selling anything to anybody. We're just
Yeah.
bringing everyone together and trying to educate as much as we can. We we were supposed to have our event in August, but we had to postpone it to next year so we can do it bigger and better. So we won't be having one this year. But other than that, I feel like there's more, and I probably will think I'll say it out loud as we go. But the only other thing I can think about is I am a part owner in a 232-acre property in Colorado that has 5 or 6 cabins on it, and we are trying to get into the glamping slash
Clamping space. Yeah.
slash camping space over there. And I just got back from that trip actually, and it's just a gorgeous piece of land, and I can't wait for people to experience that. So that is part of the travel, part of the Airbnb piece, the management and the investment part too. So
Yeah.
like I said, it's all
It's all
interconnected.
well, it's all interconnected, but they're definitely separate businesses. So
Yeah.
that's a lot,
Yeah.
Samantha. And you also
Tell me
like
about it.
you recently, not too long ago, got married. You've got kids. You have a lot going on in life, and I have to ask. because it's going to set me up for my next question. But do you get bored easily, Samantha?
I would say yes to that.
I would also say yes to that. Just knowing you like I do. But so I ask that question because the reason that we are here today and what we're talking about that neurospicy, neurodivergence piece. Do you have a diagnosis that you would feel comfortable sharing?
Yeah, and I talk about this all the time, so I'm really an open book. I don't have anything to hide. So I was recently diagnosed with ADHD, anxiety, and GAD, which is general anxiety depression disorder, in 2021. So that was almost 2 years ago. And it's really weird with diagnosis. Like you feel like you already knew, but just hearing it is it's just such a bittersweet moment where you hear it and then you feel a relief, but also you feel mad kind of thing, because I know I cried the day that they told me, even though I was not surprised. It was not a surprising diagnosis for me. It was more of the fact of, had I known sooner, I would not have struggled my whole entire life because of this.
Yeah. Well, and and this is not a neurodivergence thing, but like when I got diagnosed with diabetes, actually pretty early, not even late in life for type 2. But it was interesting because I felt validated. I was like, this thing that I thought was wrong is actually wrong.
Yeah.
But then again, I also felt like my body was kind of betraying me. Like something isn't put together right. And now my body is literally it's it's an autoimmune disorder. My body's trying to eat itself in some way, you know?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of complicated feelings when you have a diagnosis for something that is not short term, something that is chronic or something that you will have for the rest of your life. There's a lot of like really complicated feelings about it because it's like you feel empowered, you can treat it, you can like figure out how to move forward. But yeah, like to your point, like how long did I live? Like pretty sure that my foot was going to fall off before somebody said, yeah, this thing is that you think you have is actually something that you have, you know?
Right. And it doesn't stop there. Like because it's so invisible and it's literally in your head. It comes from the fact of like, okay, all of these symptoms of ADHD, like you get bored easy, you start new hobbies all the time, you're not the most organized, you forget a lot. Like it is insane the amount of things that I forget. You have doom boxes all over the place. You know where everything is, but
wait, what's a doom box?
So if you are familiar with the ADHD world, a doom box is a box or a pile or something of stuff that you are going to get to later that on your floor for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And that is something that is very common with most people that are diagnosed with ADHD to have, which is, now that I know that, I can easily identify my friends who do have it and who don't, because they become invisible to us. But if I remember that I needed the red pen that I had from 3 years ago, I know it's in that pile. But if I don't need it, it is literally invisible to me, which is why I can't do laundry either. I can't do any of that stuff. But like where I was going with that is, I have been called lazy and messy and bad wife, bad mother, bad all of these things for the whole entire 12 years of my previous marriage. And I took that as if it was my fault. It is me. I'm the problem, blah, 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 whatnot. To the point where I'm like, had I known about this diagnosis sooner, and I was suspicious, but it was never really identified then.
Well, and I want to follow, like, I want to follow that path a little later. So let's stick a pin in that. But, you know, so you have this dawning sense that something's not right. It's kind of carried you through your life, but then you have the diagnosis.
Right.
Yeah. Well, talk to us about that time, actually. what were some of the signs? Like some of the ways in which you knew that like something just isn't right, but I don't know exactly what's wrong. I can't put my finger on it.
Hmm. A lot of it is like there's a lot of struggle mentally with remembering stuff. There is so much internal monologues that happen
Yeah.
that I didn't know at the time weren't normal. I thought everybody did that. Like, what do you mean you didn't do that? Um, it's a lot of it's really hard for me to say. It's just like all of the things combined. It's like
Yeah.
ADHD is this one big picture of like this and this and this and that. Oh, that's what that is. It's hard to be like, oh, I forget a lot. That's not ADHD. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that and combined with my impulsiveness and my lack of, knowing how to pay bills on time and this and this and this and that all combined is literally the result of a chemical imbalance in my head
Yeah.
that I didn't know about. The messiness, for example, the clutter or this or that, it's just, I'm in real estate. I'm in design. I design Airbnbs. It's not that I don't know how to take care of these things.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming to the point where it causes like executive dysfunction and you just shut down.
Right.
Like, I know I need to do the thing. I cannot physically get up and do the thing. So
Right.
this is why, like, I got to a point where I was good enough in my business where I was able to afford to delegate. So I had an admin to do these things and I had a house cleaner to do these things, and I outsourced my laundry because I just couldn't physically do it. And it just, but you can't, not everybody can do that all the time. And I certainly can't do that now anymore. So
Yeah.
it's just extremely difficult for me to continue with the businesses that I have going on, or with remembering my kids' doctor's appointments if they're not in the calendar, or anything like that, because I just forget. I literally just forget. It's bad.
Well, and so you went through a diagnosis process. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Like what were some of the ways that they identified that hey, this thing that is so, you know,
Yeah.
nebulous is actually ADHD? What did that look like?
So that was funny because I do remember that. So you have to go to a psychiatrist, and your psychologist can refer you to one, or I don't know if you can just call one out of the bat. My psychologist at the time referred one to me, and they don't diagnose you from day one. Because it is so hard to be diagnosed in women, let alone adult women. They have to diagnose you with anxiety and depression first, and then as you progress with a couple sessions, then they can identify and be like, okay, it's been reoccurring enough, it's prominent enough, because a lot of the symptoms from depression or anxiety can show itself as ADHD and vice versa. And
Right.
they needed to treat the depression first, so they put me on medication that would treat that, and for like at least 2 months.
Yeah.
I think they put me on like Lexapro at the time, and it made me super sleepy and yawning all the time. It literally was like slowing me down. And I talked to her and I was like, I can't do this. I cannot sleep all day. Like I can't go out to showings and be yawning in front of my clients. Like that, I can't do that. So she switched my medication, and that was the day that she diagnosed me with the ADHD, and then she gave me Adderall XR, and I didn't sleep for 2 days
Oh man.
because it was the other extreme. And I
Right.
don't take medicine, so it does affect me quickly because I don't take medicine at all unless I'm dying, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, so so I was like, okay, Lexapro puts me to sleep. Adderall does not allow me to sleep. I need something in between, or I don't know, but we need to figure something out. So she ended up putting me on Wellbutrin, um, which people tell me is not an ADHD medication. It's for weight loss, or it's for, I don't know what it is. But anyway, that's what she put me on. And that is what actually worked. And it's crazy. It takes a bit to get used to, but once it's functioning, I don't have a million thoughts that come into my brain all the time. I don't have the urge to have squirrel brain is basically what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. And I'm not of the hyper part. I'm probably more ADD, but there's just this calmness that happens when I am on the medication and I'm able to focus and I'm able to finish a task that takes 4 or 5 hours to finish and not be distracted and not be, I don't know, it's insane. But then again, if I do not take the medication, then it just goes back to normal. And honestly, for me, I do hyper focus a lot if it's important to me, and I do get distracted a lot if it's not. So I got to a point where I was on my honeymoon end of January this year, and I forgot to take my medicine with me. So I was without the medication for 7 days in Jamaica, and I come back and I completely, entirely forget that there is a thing called medication. And
Uh,
I have not taken it since. So the medication that's supposed to help me not forget my medication, like to not forget everything else, I don't know, it's a mess. But yeah, I'm here. So,
well, I am very, very glad that you're here. You said something really interesting, though, and this was actually something that I really, really wanted to drill down on a little bit, given what Innovate Her KC is all about. But you said that it is more difficult to diagnose women, and in particular, adult women. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Because I know a little bit, but I'd be interested to hear your take.
yeah. I truly think it's, and I'm no professional. I'm no like
Yeah.
any of this. But from what I understood, the reason it's so much harder is because women are nurturers and multitaskers by nature.
Hmm.
We do all the things all the time. And we have to take care of children. We have to take care of families. We have to, keep the unit intact, basically. So that's like heaven to us. We love multitasking. We love doing new things and shiny objects and squirrels, and we love starting new ideas, and we love doing all that.
Yeah.
And if it's important and life threatening, and like if my child, like if I need to make sure my child is alive, I have to do it. It's pressing enough for me to do it. So it doesn't, if someone's not able to do that, they get immediately labeled as if they're not good enough, or
Right.
lazy, or they just don't know what they're doing, or they're a mess, or you know what I mean? Like it's not the first thing that comes to mind is never, oh, they might have a chemical imbalance, or they
Right.
might have
Well,
ADHD.
you even said it. Like the first inclination is for people to be like, well, she's lazy
Yeah.
or she just doesn't feel like it. And it's like, so that was actually something that we talked a little bit about Keystone. Like the fact is, when we're talking about neurodivergence and we're talking about these like very real chemical imbalances, because I'm clinically diagnosed depressive and high anxiety.
Mhm.
And so like the fact is like this is not a won't situation. Often this is a can't. Physically unable to get off the couch. You said that earlier.
Yep.
Physically unable to order your thoughts. Like it's not that we are declining to operate at a high
Mhm.
level as society dictates. It's that we are literally physically incapable of
Yes.
doing so. And so you have to, and unfortunately, like we're just at a point right now where mental health still has a big old stigma, and
Mhm.
like we have to advocate for ourselves. And I've had to explain to people like, well, and I mean even Aaron, who like, I love Aaron, he is the best person I know, but like at one point early in our relationship, we had to have the conversation where it was like, look, when I have days where I can't get off the couch, those are days where I can't get off the couch. Like let me
Yes.
tell you about this experience. And
Absolutely.
so there's not a lot of shared understanding, and a lot of that is because we don't talk about this stuff
Mhm.
you know
Which is why I make a point to talk about it all the time, because
yeah.
I'm sick and tired of people not taking me seriously, but also there's so many other people that are going through the same thing that need to hear it, because
Exactly.
I'm not alone. And I felt like I was alone the whole entire time, but then the more I started talking about it, the more that I feel like, oh my god, every single one of my friends is diagnosed with ADHD.
Yeah.
And How do we attract this weird vibe?
You all understand each other, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's just it's really important. It's really important to me to share these things because I don't want to suffer alone, and I also don't want other people to suffer alone. And it's okay to talk about all the things. And I don't, well, as a professional, it is impossible for me to be all cheery and happy and unicorns and rainbows all the time. And I can't do that. So me talking about my struggles keeps me authentic and transparent with my people also, that I'm having a really hard day today and that's okay. And I give myself grace now. And when I don't hit my goals because of something outside of my control, I don't beat myself up that much anymore. I still do, but not that much.
Yeah.
There's personality stuff, there's ego that comes into play. But now that I know that it is really hard for my brain to do these things because of a diagnosis, I give myself some more grace. I ask for more help, which we don't do.
Nope.
I try and I understand. And I was like, you know what? I have to figure out a different way to do it, or I have to figure out someone else to do it because I can't physically do it. So, but now that but we can work through that now that I know. Because if I didn't know, I'd just be beating myself up all the time. Why are you, like, you are human. Why can you not do this task? It's simple. Just do it.
The devil you know is better than the devil you don't. Well, so just so you know, friends, one of the things that Samantha and I talked about before we hopped on is the fact that we don't really have a whole lot of spoons left today. So I am going to, this is going to be a little bit of a truncated IHKC live. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Don't forget to post your questions and comments in the chat, or in the comments. There you go. Not the chat. But I'm going to ask the final question. So here it comes. How can neurotypical, there you go, neurotypical people best support you, the neurodivergent community? What does that look like? How can people display more patience and empathy for your experience?
Don't take my lack of response to your messages personally because I mentally responded in my head and I forgot to verbally or written word send it back. So, and I tell this to my people all the time. Please do not think that you are annoying me or bothering me when you call me multiple times or when you send me messages, because I literally probably have just forgotten. I know it's in the back of my head to do, but if you see my to-do list, it is extremely long because of my incapability to catch up and keep it. So
also 5 companies and motherhood and wifehood and
I kind of did that to myself,
all of that shit too.
Yeah, so like if I don't reach out to you, feel free to bombard me until you hear from me. I am not ignoring you intentionally. Unless I am, then I'm blocking you, but that I don't block people. But like, please do not take offense. I really truly do need the extra reminders.
Yeah.
I need the extra reminders to make sure things are done on time and that I am following up with you on time, because it's not that I'm incapable of doing it for you. I just got a squirrel.
You need every now and again, you're just going to need a little bit of an extra boost. So we have Serenity. Well, Dominique came in and said, good question, which is awesome. We love getting that feedback. But then we had this comment. Hi, Serenity. Really glad that you are here watching with us and appreciate you sharing your story too. Thank you both for sharing. I have both ADHD and T2D. Type 2 diabetes. So we both have some alignments I relate to so much. And it's like, I just want to give you a big old hug, Serenity, because we are on an interesting journey here together, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and this is awesome. Check this one out. So Serenity came back. As an aspiring entrepreneur, it is good to see someone who is doing it successfully. So what would you say to, I know I said that last one was going to be my last question, but this is going to be, what would you say to Serenity as someone who's doing you're doing the damn thing?
So I want to be completely honest here. Success is very subjective, and someone can just have one to-do list thing and finish it in a very long time, and that's success to them. And other people have like a million things and they have to finish all of them for that to be success to them. So like I said, on the outside, you guys see me being successful and doing the things. And yes, I will toot my horn, and there are a lot of things that I've been able to achieve. But on the other side, there's still so much struggle behind the camera and behind the lens, and that's not posted online. And I try to be transparent again and post the good and the bad, but there is a lot that's hidden. So I wouldn't, I'm trying to not take that to where, oh, you're perfect and everything's going well for you and you got this down. I do not have everything down. I do not have all of my ducks in a row. That is absolutely not what I'm doing. I don't know how I'm here right now, because I get that question all the time. How do you do it all? I was like, I literally have no idea.
Well, so wait. I do want to leave Serenity with some hope. Like, so here's the deal. Like, you're an aspiring entrepreneur. Samantha and I have both been doing the entrepreneur deal for years. And the fact is, it is the most beautiful, wonderful, affirming, amazing experience that is going to make you hate yourself in every moment of your life at times. Like, it is a messy, complicated thing to do. It is one of the most affirming things I have ever done. But it is possible, Serenity. Like, it is absolutely possible. And I mean, Samantha, you gave some really great advice. Like, make sure that you're asking for help. Make sure that you are, even if you have to advocate for yourself and explain to the people around you, like, this is what I'm capable of. This is what I need in order to succeed and thrive. Those are all totally valid things to do. You are very, very rarely on any entrepreneurial journey, and this is for folks who are neurotypical, you are very, very rarely going to feel like you have your shit together. That's just fact. Like, because 99% of the time you don't. It's just duck on a pond with the feet move. Everything looks calm on the surface, but on the bottom, everything's going crazy. So Serenity, please know that if you need some assistance, Innovate Her KC is here to support you. Please know that it is possible. Myself and Samantha are absolutely examples. There are so many more within our entrepreneurial community. We believe in you and you got this, but you're just going to have to figure out how to make it work for you. Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We did. And it looks like people are kind of coming in on the back end. So we did get I'm going to show this and then it's going to, Christy, first of all, thank you for contributing and being so thoughtful, Christy. I so appreciate your honesty. I have the exact diagnosis triad. And incidentally, fun fact, but a lot of these conditions and syndromes and stuff is the fact, like, there's something called a comorbidity. A lot of these things happen together in concert with each other. So many of us have multiple diagnoses. But so Christy has found mindfulness and consciousness to be incredibly helpful. You are already so aware of the benefits of retreats and community. Yeah, you are. I highly recommend Audibles by Dr. Joe Dispenza, Eckhart Tolle, and Dr. Shifali Sabari for teachings on awakening consciousness and getting out of our own way. Love and light to you, ladies. And sometimes that, like, sometimes the piece that you learn or the thing that you use as a like a coping strategy, sometimes that's just knowledge, and that's just figuring out, mindfulness, meditation, slowing things down. That works for me. So thank you so much for sharing that, Christy. I love it. So Samantha, do you have anything that you would like to add? Any final thoughts to leave us with on this wonderful IHKC Live?
I think just have grace, take it easy. It is absolutely not the end of the world. It's very workable. Like you said, everything is possible. and have a lot of calendars and reminders. I mean,
Yeah.
to say like my calendar is my life. If it is not on my calendar,
If it's
it's
not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. Same. Like that's what I tell people. I'm like, if you want me to do something, I'm happy to do it, but you're gonna have to put it on my calendar because if it's not there, I ain't coming.
it's just literally like that is the only way. I've tried journals, I've tried writing things down. I'm a very big note taker, but if it's not in my calendar, it does not exist to me. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I love all of that, and I love you. I'm
And
so glad that we had the opportunity. Thank you for sharing your story so authentically. I knew that you were gonna do that, and I was right.
way. That's the only way.
Yeah, but I'm honored to be your friend, and I'm honored that you elected to tell your story for Innovate Her KC to share your experience. Thank you.
And I'm grateful for you asking me and including me in all these discussions. These are really important to hear.
All right. Well, it's that woman love that we have for each other. So I'm going to go ahead and pop Samantha out of the stream, and then I'm going to give some updates on things that we have coming up. But everybody, say goodbye, Samantha. Thank you, thank you, and we will catch you later, friend. Now, what do we have coming up for Innovate Her KC? We had the big thing that we have coming up is our monthly meetup. That'll be taking place August 1st. We are going to be at Monarca Art Space, which is a gallery space and studio located in the West Bottoms. It is owned and managed by Vanya Soto, who is one of our IHKC members. She is an artist and a muralist, and we're going to enjoy some really great art. Boulevard is coming in to sponsor some tasty, tasty beverages, and we will definitely have a non-alcoholic option as per the always to make sure that we take care of everybody. So come on by if you want to enjoy some art. We're going to be with Connext, which if you haven't heard, they are kind of the young friends of Nonprofit Connect. So we'll hear a little bit from them, but we're just going to have an awesome monthly meetup. You can find that information on our Facebook page. You can find it on our LinkedIn information. You can also find it at innovateherkc.com. There is a calendar, and you can click and subscribe if you want to attend our events in the future. We would certainly love to see you. Friends, thank you so much for coming back again and again, watching IHKC Live. We are very, very grateful for you. Let us know if you have any ideas on topics. You can go ahead and just post them in the comments. If you have any folks that you would like for us to talk to, women plus leaders who are doing amazing things in the community, we'd love to talk to them, but just keep on coming back and make sure that if you enjoyed this conversation, make sure that you like, share, comment, subscribe, all of those things, because we love to get the message out there. Thanks for joining us for IHKC Live, and we will catch you next time. Got to find the button.